Okay, this video is called Vegan Diet Changes Menstrual Periods. First of all, I read this very good book by Dr. Neil Bernard called Your Body in Balance. And he included sections in there about menopause and how Asian women with their low-fat, plant-based diet would have almost no symptoms of menopause. They would simply just stop having periods. Whereas I know lots of white American women, they complain about their periods quite often. When I've seen them go into menopause, they complain quite a lot about hot flashes, not feeling good. They love air conditioning, which is potentially an issue because a lot of men, including myself, do not like air conditioning. They have problems with PMS and mood swings. I've seen that in girlfriends in the past. They can be rather emotionally volatile at that type of the month. As a matter of fact, women often behave rather bad, and they get away with it because they're a woman, okay? People think, they have no physical strength. When they have a temper tantrum, it's just a joke. They only have the strength of about a boy in 6th grade, so it's like a child. A man can't behave that way. Let's see, what else? Okay, what happened to my girlfriend when she went vegan? She lost 20 pounds, and her body weight was already really good, but now it's perfect. Her period changed from 7 days duration to about 4 to 5 days with overall less amount of bleeding. It still bothers her. I mean, it still sometimes wakes her up at night. She was anemic in the past. She's less tired now. But also, if we go to the health club together and exercise when she's on her period, she's tired. She can't do much. She'll just, go slow on exercise or something. She's being nice. She wants to be with me. So, but she just can't do much. She had cutaneous hives. They all went away when she became a vegan. Her cramps markedly diminished. No more headaches. Less mood swings. When we started dating, I told her at first she had to pass a 3-month crazy test before she could call herself my girlfriend. And then she had this PMS episode, so I had to add an extra month to her crazy test. But she's calmed down since then, so things are good. Anyways, it's kind of interesting that I think what happens is the vegan diet lowers a person's estrogen levels for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you're eating like a vegan diet, especially organic vegan diet, because organic is beneficial, so you avoid the glyphosate that's sprayed on the soy and a lot of other things in non-organic food, and you avoid the atrazine sprayed on the corn. Those are both estrogenic, especially the atrazine, and then that'll help because estrogen is a fat storage hormone. It'll give a woman a tendency to gain weight. Plus, glyphosate's a brain excitotoxin, can make her more anxious and agitated potentially. Atrazine is a mitochondrial inhibitor, and that could lower energy levels and also have a little bit of an indirect excitotoxic effect on the brain by lowering the ability to produce ATP and thus the ability to pump calcium out of the cell. What else? You just avoid all the other junk in there because she now eats vegan like I do. Low fat, 100% vegan, organic only, no processed food. She just feels better. Her moods are better. Let's see, what are other things about? You avoid meat, so you avoid all the issues in meat and all the additives in meat, including a lot of estrogens. There's no fiber in meat. There's very little in processed food. You need that dietary fiber to support the good gut bacteria. The good gut bacteria do not mess with your liver excreted estrogens. When the body's high in estrogen, it excretes liver into the bile, and then the bile passes through the intestinal tract, and we defecate it out of our system to lower our estrogen levels. And when we do that, then we keep our estrogen levels optimal. What happens though when you don't have fiber, you get the bad gut bacteria. They got more of an enzyme called glucuronidase. Normally when the liver excretes estrogen, it conjugates it, makes it more soluble in the bile. And that conjugation also prevents it from being reabsorbed. But on a meat and processed food diet with little fiber, you get bad gut bacteria. They have more of an enzyme called glucuronidase, and they deconjugate the liver-excreted estrogen. And when it's deconjugated, the body reabsorbs it, so it keeps a person's estrogen levels higher. The other thing is my girlfriend, before she used to drink bottled water and tap water. You get estrogens from the bottled water because of the plastic, the phthalates and whatnot. And But now with me, she drinks reverse osmosis water, and that also helps a person to optimize their body weight and avoid estrogen-related issues. Higher bodily estrogens tend to cause increased amount of bleeding at menstruation, prolonged menstrual periods, more of a tendency for cramping, and they're associated with women who've eaten and lived that way. They tend to have more side effects from menopause. Actually, one last thing I'll say about women. Women have a big pituitary. I look at brains all the time, and the only obvious difference from looking at a brain of a premenopausal woman versus a premenopausal man is the female has a much bigger pituitary. It's literally typically about twice as big, and the upper surface of it is convex, so it's convex upward. And that's because of their menstrual cycles, okay? But that's also why they have more volatile personalities. A guy tends to be the same every day. You don't even need to look at a guy, and you just talk to him on the phone or in person. You're not even looking at each other. I know exactly what he's saying. There's zero ambiguity. Whereas with a woman, you really want to look at her face, because a lot of her communication is in her face and in emotional stuff. Whether she raises her eyebrows, tilts her head, pulls up on her smile halfway, all of those things tell you what she's really thinking rather than just her words. They're more complex, and I think the reason why women are so emotional compared to men is because they take care of children. Up until the modern time with all this birth control stuff, the average woman was having 10 children. Okay, so any guy who's been around his wife, mother, grandmother, mother-in-law, and all that stuff around the babies and the young children is kind of amazed at how well they understand the kid and they communicate with the kid. Okay, men, we're a little bit more out there. We're not as good with young kids in general. And I think that's why a woman's designed to be that way, designed to be good with kids, and kind of like with animals too. A lot of these modern women, they don't have that many kids, and then they have all these dogs and they treat them like kids. And I like the dog, but I don't have prolonged conversations with them. Anyways, I hope you found this helpful.